What's up, guys? Welcome to our first special episode of the 8BitRacketeers podcast. This is episode 1, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler review of Deadpool and Wolverine that just came out this past weekend. So, for today's panel, it's me, of course, your host, Phil, and I also got with me Anthony.
What's going on, guys?
And Mr. Barrett Smith.
What's up, guys?
So yeah, we're just going to talk over what our thoughts about the movie are, and just a fair warning for everybody listening out there, this is all spoilers. We're not holding anything back. We're going to give our full thoughts of the whole movie. So who wants to go first, gentlemen?
Yeah, Anthony, you want to start us off?
Yeah, I can go first.
All right.
Make sure no windows are open if you want to just break the spoilers.
Yeah, leave now.
Leave now, yeah.
Leave now. But, you know what, from the start, I'll just start right here quickly, just like the reality of it. Dude, this movie was worth the wait. From my own personal opinion, dude, it was worth the wait. From beginning to end, man, it was everything I wanted, everything I hoped it would be, and then what I wanted to be, it was basically that. I love the fact of it being cameo heavy, but it wasn't like, hey, we're just throwing people out there just to get names. Dude, from the opening kickoff, bro. Dude, from this movie starting off, bro, too.
The way it starts.
Never thought I would hear or see, Deadpool slaughtering everybody.
Right.
To some good old NSYNC. Whoever did that, man, that man or that team, you deserve an award just on yourself. But yeah, dude, I mean, I liked it. It was really good. You know what? I factored like that. The story was really amazing. I like how it kind of kicked off, continuing from what it was. Yeah, overall for me, I enjoyed it. It was everything I liked it to be. It was just different. Weird to see, Deadpool when we last saw him. He was doing the time traveling, and then this one, he's kind of like he's kind of one of those like, okay, I think I did everything I guess I intended to do. I rewrote everything I wanted to do. It threw me off though about with how him and Vanessa kind of just split off. They didn't give too much detail into that. I know they kind of referenced like a scene of it, but I feel like they kind of ended differently because of what Cassandra was telling Wade. But that's the only thing I feel like that's probably how it was. But overall, it was interesting. I like the story. I wasn't one of those things where it's just like, oh, we're just making this movie just because we want a fan service kind of thing. The overall plot was really good, and just, the fact of like, what, Wade being special, Deadpool being a special variant to this multiverse saga that MCU's been kind of bringing up for a while. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the thing. We're talking about cameos and stuff like that, dude. One of my biggest cameos that I thought was really surprised, and I literally was in the theater. I was like, no way, bro! Wesley Snipes.
Blade is back.
Yeah, bringing back Blade, bro.
Blade is back.
I love that subtle reference where Deadpool goes, where Blade says, "I don't like you," and he references, "Hey, you never did," because the outside real world stuff between Ryan Reynolds and Wesley Snipes. I just love that part of like, he's like, I never liked you. He's like, you never did. And I was like, dude, to me that was funny. It was nice little subtle ways they did that. The Void was interesting. I think the fact is like, man, I wonder if people really saw Loki. Like, I mean, you had to see Loki.
I don't think so.
That's one of those.
I don't think so.
I don't think man. I think you have to kind of watch that now. For me, dude, personally, Loki is one of my favorite MCU shows. X-Men honestly, I think X-Men kind of 97 kind of took the mantle from that. Before that, dude, Loki was my favorite MCU TV series. The Void was cool, just to see all the X-Men characters. They had Toad, freaking Ray Park was back, dude.
Yeah.
I forget his name and the character, but Nightcrawler. In the comics, he's Nightcrawler's father, so he's like the red Nightcrawler.
Azazel, I think.
Azazel, yeah. So I was like, man, it was cool to see him do it. Elektra, we heard Elektra was coming in it, so we knew Elektra was going to be in the movie. The Gambit one, and the way they
Gambit,
the little talking about it, bro, was so funny. Where Gambit's like, he's all, because in reality, Channing Tatum always wanted a Gambit movie, and it just never what I've been hearing now in news is it kind of got lost in the whole Fox
Yeah,
Disney
this whole
merger.
this whole movie is very. It was one of my concerns coming out of it was this movie is very inside baseball. Like you have to know a lot about not only comics but also like backstage movie news too, to be able to understand
like
a lot of the
real-world
jokes.
situations.
You know.
Yes.
A lot of the jokes, okay, some of the jokes were cool. Some were okay. Some I know they as I'm watching it, talking to other people's reviews, and also just watching the movie. Like, man, I don't think I've ever heard the F word so many times in one movie. I think I heard it as many times as I was at the concert where I was at work like about a month ago. But yeah, I've never never heard of that movie so many times. It's a Deadpool movie. It was a reference in a lot. He said it a lot of times in the first two movies. But yeah, this one was. I feel like they upped the ante, you know, because it's been so long. But yeah, so many characters. Okay, one of my favorite parts I still cannot get over is the is Johnny and
Johnny, that got me.
Fantastic Four, dude.
That
Bro,
got me
bro,
100%.
dude.
Because
Dude,
I'll tell
I'm
you,
watching this.
I thought at first it was him supposed to be Nomad. It's like a character he becomes after Captain America when he quits. He becomes like this kind of like rogue.
Oh, I had no idea.
Basically like Captain America, but without all the stars and stripes, and he doesn't have the shield. He's kind of like his own thing, right? I thought he was gonna be that. I was like, okay, that's gonna be cool. But then he takes off the king and he goes, "Flame on!" He flies up in the air. Like the whole theater blew up when that happened. It was so cool.
Dude, I was like, no way. The reason that scene that I like, my favorite part is the whole where freaking Deadpool starts getting all hyped because he's seen everything. He knows exactly what's gonna happen. And I love when he goes, oh my gosh, he's telling Wolverine all excited. He's like, oh my gosh, he's gonna say it. Wolverine has no idea what he said.
And then,
he goes,
did you catch the part
Avengers,
too?
us.
Yeah, and he, flame on instead.
He goes, hold on, wait now. What?
Did you catch the part
That's
too?
still one of my favorite parts.
When he's saying that, oh my god, it's real Captain America, and he turns around to Wolverine, who has got like swords in him, and he just hits one of the swords and kind of hurts him a little bit.
You hear like a thing.
Yeah, tung.
He's got a sword in him, bro. And he's just hitting it like, oh my god, dude, this is Captain. And dude, that's one of my favorite parts. I still laugh at that part, dude. I was just like, he's gonna say it. He even says Avengers.
Yeah, there's so many funny parts in this movie.
There's so many parts. Yeah, there's so many funny parts of it, dude. Okay, Cassandra Nova, bro, dude, that character was so well done. The actress did amazing.
Yeah,
bro,
she did great.
Cassandra is a trip, bro. She basically is what Professor X would have been if he had not been nice and he was evil and just pure evil, dude. Okay, I was telling one of my friends. I was like, dude, the parts where she's like, okay, so now you're seeing, I guess, what it really is like when somebody's like, you know, in their brain and in their top. But dude, to see it like graphically, dude, and Cassandra's fingers and just going through their heads and dude, that stuff, it was
very
trippy.
cool.
It was also very, I told my friends it was so cool, but my goodness, it was trippy. But I was like, man, that's just the reality of just an evil, you know, psychopath psychic dude that has that ability to do that. And I was just like, dude, it was a trip, dude. I was like, I could not get over it. I was saying it was a little trippy, but a little. I was like, also like, I see where this is going, and I see it. You know, all the time we would see Professor X, you know, just putting his fingers on his forehead, and you just think the conversation is going on, brother. But to see what it really looks like from that kind of an angle is so creepy. But it was so like well done.
She makes because you can just put your hand on somebody like as Professor X or Jean Grey and get into their mind.
Yeah.
But what she does is she phases her whole hand through somebody's head and like kind of shift. Like during when she does it to Deadpool, she puts her hand through his head and kind of like shifts his face and stuff. Like it's really unsettling and terrifying.
Or when she's like walking Paradox.
Yeah, grabs him by the head inside his head and just drags him.
Yeah, and she's just dragging. I was like, dude, that is sinister, bro. But I was like, man, just to see that right there. But dude, yeah, it was interesting. Okay, and then just to top it off, dude, we were all excited just to have Hugh Jackman come back as Wolverine, bro, and then to get him to put the Dawn on the actual like mask, the whole actual thing, dude, bro. When he did that, I was like, loud in the theater, I was like, yes, like dude, it's like we've all seen him in like the cartoons.
And you know what?
Man, but But to see it in real life, like, it's like, dude, yes, this is what we've been waiting for.
And you know what? The mask for I've had so many arguments with people who say, "Oh no, the comic books they look wacky, they look stupid." Dude, when he put that mask on, he looked
Bro,
sick.
it looked epic, bro.
He
Like,
looked
it looked like,
so cool.
I was like,
And
dude,
then
that is the Wolverine from the cartoon. Now he's in real life and he's got it on, dude. Like, oh, it was amazing.
so the part after when they go and fight all the Deadpools and they kill them all, right? And they hop out of the bus, when they land
yeah.
and he's kind of like hunched over and like huffing and puffing, and he's got that classic Wolverine stance, and he's got the mask on. Dude, it looked straight out of the comics, and he looked intimidating. Like it was super cool. Like, man, I wish they would
Looked
do
like-
more
it-
stuff.
It looked like Wolverine in his element.
It looked
you
like
said before,
proper,
he's all
yeah.
like, it
Yeah.
looked like Wolverine, and he said, "What did he say? He's what he's you bring out the house. He's out for special occasions. He's out to kill a bunch
Just
of
for
you.
killing.
He's all, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's on ready." But yeah, I liked it. I like the fact of now he's just getting all those things of just. Like I said, it was one of those stories where it wasn't like super cameo friend like heavy. It wasn't like just throwing stuff out there. The part of the story, the fact is, or just the reality of like timelines, going out and decaying and dying at that. But I thought that was pretty like creepy. It was crazy to be like Paradox is just one of those guys like okay, this stuff usually happens. He's like, but I want to expedite this thing real quick. He's like, we need to get this stuff done. He's like, you can get your goal and to be an Avenger, to be in the main 616 timeline and everything. I didn't know. It was interesting to think that. I'm thinking of that scene where he's doing it. I mean, that scene. If I'm not correct, I was watching some other video. They're saying that so basically that scene with with the interview with Happy Hogan is between Civil War and Infinity War apparently, because that's when they were like, okay, the team had kind of split up, so they were looking for new people to continue building up a team. That's what I heard, and so they said that's
No,
the part right
I
there
think
where,
this takes
they-
place after Endgame. And No Way
yeah, so I
Home.
was like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
oh, okay, yeah, because I heard different ones. I was like, it'd be interesting to see if it was exactly that's how it was, but yeah, man, overall I had a fun time. I for a while, it's been a while since I've been in the movie theater and watched like an MCU movie and be like, man, dude, I had a fun time the whole time. 2 hours 7 minutes, bro. It didn't even feel like it. Like I was hoping it just to be longer, and it wasn't a drag, dude. I wanted more, but man, I feel like what they gave us was just the right touch and just the right amount. And then now to have Wolverine, in the MCU, and then just bringing it, I feel like they're gonna bring some more. I liked it, man. It was really fun. Overall, man, it's like I want to go see it again. I'm hoping probably next week or something, or see my schedule, either before work on a day off or something, to go hit up the theaters again. Because like, this is a movie. I thought it was gonna be a movie where it's like I have to go back and see because I was missing things. Our theater, bro, was really good. Like it was loud. It was loud like it's gonna be. But it wasn't the point where I was like I wasn't missing stuff. Like I was still able to kind of hear exactly what was being said next, and the scene kind of flowed. Like everybody in the theater was one of those. I think it was one of those anticipations of like, dude, we're all been waiting for this, and we all want to be excited, but we also don't want to be like yelling and screaming and all that stuff, and we're missing stuff. So the theater was really cool. I want to go back to just to see it all, just to see it again because it's just that good. As soon as I got out, I was like, man, dude, that was a fun movie. So much has happened. But yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes. I was talking about the Sparta. He's like, oh, you know what? I seriously thought that it was just gonna be Deadpool like writing himself off in that scene, and then Logan comes in and just freaking they go together and they both tread out that thing. I was like, that's crazy. I thought it was really gonna be like a Deadpool kind of write himself off and then somehow come back some other way, but it worked out. It worked out great. See how it goes from there. Dude, it was so cool to see X-23 again, dude. Laura, dude, yeah. It was so cool to see her back in action. Just to see
I
her
was not
back in.
expecting that.
That was exciting. Cooper, dude, she rocked the freaking the shades again, dude. I was like, okay, bro, this is so she about to slaughter some people and some little girl sunglasses and everything. Overall, man, I had a fun time. If I could say that, man, that's probably all it was. I enjoyed it. Hoping to go back again to see it because there's just so many good things about it. And dude, that's crazy to think, like I said, how long it's been from the last movie to now. But yeah, worth the wait. Ultimately, yeah, overall worth the wait, and I'm excited for the MCU and see where it goes from here.
Yeah, 100%.
But that's my take on it.
Yeah. So Barrett, what did you think about the movie?
Yeah, I think Anthony touched on a lot of the good details for sure. For sure the cameos, absolutely the cameos were probably the selling point for me as far as why I wanted to see the film a lot. I didn't want to spoil it too much for me, so I didn't watch too many trailers or anything. But besides that, it was really fun to watch, easy to watch too. The jokes, you're right, Philip, could be a little tricky for people to understand,
Yeah.
especially if you're a kid too. Honestly, I feel bad.
Are there any kids in the theater?
There were
though?
in mine. There were.
There was?
I wasn't sure
Okay.
about yours.
Alright.
Yeah, but mine
we
there.
had a few.
There's,
We had a few in ours.
yeah, so I'm sure they didn't understand a bunch of the movie.
Sure.
But besides that, I thought it was good. Definitely crazy amount of swearing and cussing in this film. I wasn't expecting that much. But but it was all really good jokes. I love Ryan Reynolds' kind of like vision on Deadpool and how he's run with it in the past two films.
Right.
And I think it's going in a good direction. I think the plot was a little weak as far as being a little confusing as to like why they had to do it certain ways, and like I thought they were gonna die with like the matter or whatever and the antimatter. So stuff like that was a little interesting. And then I thought, as much as I love Hugh Jackman, I really think that Logan should have been the last Wolverine movie he was in, and I still to this day after watching that believe that, because he did such a phenomenal performance, and I've told a few people that was the only superhero movie I've ever cried.
Really?
And I doubt I'll cry for any more. There's no emotional attachment to superhero movies for me unless it's that personal for like, and Logan was that for me with X-23.
You didn't cry when Tony Stark died?
No, because I like to think about actors as their age, and Hugh Jackman and Robert Downey Jr. being almost in their 70s, they should really hang it up, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And so I feel that way about any actor, to be completely honest. Like even like someone like Morgan Freeman or like Clint Eastwood's a great example. Go into directing, go into producing, but I don't know if he still should be a Wild West cowboy Clint Eastwood at 75 years old.
I mean, we are getting Harrison Ford Red Hulk, so.
I know. So it's not like that stuff is going away. Don't get me wrong, but he looks good.
What did Deadpool say to the kids? You're gonna do this till he's 90.
Till he's 90. Yeah, that was true.
Well, no, he says Disney's gonna make him do this till he's 90. Yeah.
It's funny, but they all looked really good for being a bit older, especially Jennifer Garner, Elektra, Gambit, Channing Tatum, Wesley Snipes for Blade. They all looked really good for their age.
Yeah, people forget Channing Tatum's actually like a lot older than he seems.
Yeah. Channing Tatum, I want to say he's like
mid-30s.
Yeah, he's almost mid-40s, I want to say. So, yeah, stuff like that was cool. Laura, definitely X-23 was the best cameo for me. And then next would be Gambit, I would say. But good movie. Iffy on the plot. Cameos are great. And it did feel like a classic Marvel movie, I will say so. It definitely revived Marvel for me a little bit. I love how they joked about previous Marvel films.
What did he tell me, that you're coming in at a low point?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's true though, right?
No, he's not wrong.
But yeah,
there was a lot of shots at just the current MCU and Disney in
Right?
general. A lot of them, which I liked a lot. My favorite joke of the film is when he first it's Paradox. He's first telling Deadpool, Wade Wilson, that hey, you're gonna become part of the MCU now, right? If you accept this mission. And he goes, give me 1 second. So he walks away and he goes up to the camera and he grabs it, and what does he say? Suck it, Fox, I'm going to Disneyland. And he bangs his head into the glass. Fuck it, and he walks away. Yeah, it's funny.
No, it was good. It was good. It was a fun watch for sure.
Yeah, that was probably my favorite part. As for my take on the movie, I really enjoyed it. For me, it's about a 7 out of 10. When the movie finished, I kind of saw it. Well, going into it too, I kind of saw it as a parody film of like superhero films.
Same.
Deadpool is kind of that in general, but especially this movie, it makes so much fun of the current state of superhero films. Like, there's one part before they all kill the rest of the Deadpools, and he's like, guys,
Oh
we
yeah.
got to get rid of this whole multiverse thing. It's been beat to death. Come on, we try it over and again and again and again. You know, and so he makes fun of that, and he's like,
They say just take the L and walk
just
away.
take the L and walk away. Yeah. So that, and then like you said, there's the part where they you're entering the MCU at kind of a low point. You know, it's that kind of joke.
Yeah.
There's a part where he gets knocked into the Fox logo that's kind of left in the middle of nowhere, right? So there's stuff like that all over the place. So yeah, the best parts were all the jokes and all the parody stuff and the humor that came out of it. What really didn't work for me was the story. It was very thin.
Right.
I almost didn't really pay attention to it on my second viewing because I've seen it twice now. On my second time watching it, I just kind of spaced out when all the story stuff was happening because I didn't care for it. I think I cared a little bit for maybe Logan's storyline, but having seen Logan and the rest of, for me, the X-Men ends with Days of Future Past and Logan. After that,
Yep.
nothing else matters.
Nothing else matters.
Nothing else matters. So seeing him in this movie, it's, again, I see it as a parody. Like, oh, we kind of have to use Wolverine for this storyline, just to kind of make fun of the rest of whatever's going on in the MCU and stuff, and Fox, and also too just to see cool action scenes between Deadpool and Wolverine. Like, my favorite parts of the movie were them two fighting. So the first part is when they end up in the void for the first time, and they're like, what does he say? Get ready, get your special sock ready, nerds. This is gonna be good, right? And then they start
Yeah, like
fighting.
get your popcorn ready or whatever.
Yeah. And then later the second fight is I love this fight the most, is when they fight in the van. Was it the
The minivan.
Yeah, what was the name of the car? He makes fun
Honda
of it.
Odyssey.
Honda Odyssey, yeah.
Odyssey, yeah.
That whole fight in the car is dope. That's probably my favorite fight in the whole film. So how creative it is just to fight in a van. They do a lot of cool stuff with that. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. It wasn't perfect. I went in there kind of going, expecting a popcorn, turn your brain off kind of movie. And there was a lot of funny stuff in it. A lot of the cameos were great. One of the cameos you guys didn't talk about was the one with Henry Cavill as Wolverine. He's kind of like fixing his bike, and Deadpool's walking up to him. He's like, "Oh yeah, you look perfect as a Wolverine." And then he turns around and he's like, "Holy crap. Aren't you Henry Cavill? The Calverine." And then as he's walking out, because Henry Cavill's kind of coming towards him to hit him, right? He's walking out and he goes, "You know what? We treat you better than the other guys across the street. I promise that." And he leaves. It's like, okay, you get it.
It's true though.
It's 100% true. And it kind of sold me on the idea of him being Wolverine too. Because before I wasn't.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the idea.
But now I'm up for it. I don't think they're going to do it, but I'd be up for it.
How large you guys bust up on the accurate?
Oh, that was pretty
accurate
funny.
height.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like Wolverine cameos of just famous X-Men covers and storylines. So like one of them is he's hanging on this like X-shaped cross or crucifixion
Oh,
on a pile of skulls.
Yeah.
So that's from like a famous uncanny.
I thought it was random comics. I assume so.
It's from a comic cover. So there's that. There's one of the Wolverines. He's missing a hand. And it's like a metal plate. That's from
the midget one.
No. Well, he's kind of small in that too, but he's got a metal hand. One of his hands is missing, and he gets up in the car and it just pounds Deadpool's face in with that metal hand.
Oh no, the first one was the midget one. That's
The
right.
first one was then the bar. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
the bar. That was funny.
That was yeah. But the one in the alleyway, when he finds him and he's got the metal hand, is from Age of Apocalypse, I think, from the future.
Oh, okay.
There's that.
I believe so, yeah.
My favorite one is he teleports into the woods and he finds the brown suit Wolverine. That's like my favorite costume for Wolverine. And he's like, "Hey, aren't you the Wolverine that fought Hulk in issue blah blah blah?" And he turns around and it's the Hulk standing behind him. And you don't see his face, but you just see the back of his head and kind of his shoulders. And he's like, "Oh wow, you're the Hulk!" And the Hulk slams him into the tree. And he's like, "Oh, I'm Marvel Jesus. You can't do that to me." Right. So that was probably my favorite part of the film in terms of like cameos. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this movie. I did have a problem with the story, and I do think it's really bland and falls apart when you really think about it.
But
But
it wasn't a cash grab. We can agree on that.
no, not at all, not at all.
Definitely not a cash grab.
And I'm not knocking it down for the poor story because
Same.
I didn't go into it hoping for like a grand story. I went in there hoping it just would make me laugh and show me cool stuff, and it did. It did all of that. And
I guess that's what I said. It for me, it's like it was everything I expected it and hoped it would be. That's basically what it was. Because we look back at the first two Deadpool movies, they had story, they had a little bit of a thing right there, but this one mostly was kind of like like I said, it was kind of like the beginning of the movie kind of did the whole thing. Like, he did everything he felt like he needed to do. He was kind of over being Deadpool and didn't want to continue to do this because he felt like he had everything he had.
Yeah, that felt so weird and dumb for a movie plot. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't understanding why he was so like content.
It was just kind of there just to
like a filler.
Yeah, well, yeah, kind of like very artificial in terms of like, oh, the reason why he's hopping through universes and stuff and looking for teammates is because of this, right? He wants to be an Avenger for whatever reason, because he felt like
he said
he wasn't
for the glory and fame, right?
Because he felt like
whatever,
he felt like he could do more in life, and being an Avenger would fulfill that. Which I never got that from Deadpool. That kind of feels like out of nowhere, but
yeah, he's not that kind of superhero.
He's not that kind of super. He's a merc with a mouth,
and which is why I think they should say to that.
Well, they even say that in the film when one of my favorite parts is right before they fight in the van when Wolverine's cussing him out. You couldn't even hold a relationship with a goddamn stripper, right? That's like one of my favorite parts of the movie. But he says it like all you are is just a joke with a mouth or a merc with a mouth.
Yes.
He says that during that part. And it's true. That's all he is. So having this real weird plot of he has this like midlife crisis. He's broken up with Vanessa. The whole world is going to disintegrate and fall apart if he doesn't find a Wolverine. All of that really is just, you can tell it was just put there just to get the story going. But the real stuff is them fighting, them running into the different Wolverines and all that really cool comic book stuff. That's kind of what you're going to the movie for. And I don't. Mm-hmm. I think after maybe a third viewing, I wouldn't care to watch this again for a while. But it serves its purpose. It's fun. Did it get me back into the MCU? No. I think some of the stuff they announced at Comic-Con is kind of piquing my interest a little bit. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, more exciting.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more in the next episode of the regular podcast. But did this movie do that for me? No. As a matter of fact, it kind of sits similar to where Guardians 3 is and where No Way Home is, where this is kind of like an epilogue to Endgame. This is more so like an epilogue to the Fox side of superhero stuff, right? Of Marvel.
Yeah.
Like I said, where Days of Future Past and Logan end that story for me, this is more like an epilogue. So how Endgame is the end for the MCU for me, at least right now. No Way Home and Guardians 3 is the epilogue to that story. Mm-hmm. So yeah, overall, about a 7 out of 10 for me. I enjoyed it overall. Could have been better, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah, did we want to talk about like favorite scene or like thing we would have changed from the film or anything?
One thing I do want to bring up, which is a good fact, that I don't know if a lot of people realized until later, or I heard this. Who was it? Some YouTuber I was watching made this really good point, where the streak has been broken. There's been another person who's played Wolverine for 20 years, 25 years. It's always been Hugh Jackman and nobody else. Henry Cavill was the second ever Wolverine, which is crazy to think about. Like it happens.
That is weird.
It happens so fast, and you don't really think about it that way. But it's true. Like he's the second person to ever play Wolverine.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because there's been throughout there's a reboots and through the different thing that Fox is doing with all their.
They did it with everybody, with all their X-Men, and
we've had two or three Professor X's, right?
Yeah.
Magneto, Storm.
Yep, they've all had
Scott Storm. We've Beast. Like we've all had all these different ones, and that's crazy to think of a run of like. I maybe that's a testament of how respectful it is to have Hugh Jackman, or just the fact that maybe in some cases too, the entertainment Hollywood and stuff like that was a little kind of like we really shouldn't touch this. It's like it turns into a little bit of a Star Wars kind of, we can't touch these people, we can't change these people. But eventually it's like this has to happen. But that's crazy to think that. Yeah, 20 years of just one actor just doing the same thing over and over. That's like a team having one coach for all these years and never doing anything and having success. I'm not mentioning any names because team sucks. But yeah, I mean it's interesting to see that. That's crazy. That's a crazy fact that that's the second person to on screen to be like in that live action. The second person to ever don the name on like with their name and they're being cast as it. That's crazy.
Yeah. And we'll probably get a new one when the X-Men officially come to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
2025, 26. I think the contract's ending in 25.
Like yeah, something like that. I don't know. Did you guys stay for the mid-credit scenes and the end credit scenes at all?
I stayed for most of them. Those are fun, dude. Those were super fun to see a blast from like the original X-Men.
It gets
movie.
That was cool.
That was super fun. That was emotional. I was a little like, dang. I remember this stuff. I remember seeing I've seen these movies, grew up with these movies, and I'm like, man, I've seen all this character. The last one was really funny. Like that was hilarious.
Yeah, it goes back to the Human Torch, Johnny Storm, where he's like, I never said any of that, and then he play back the tape and he's saying all of it, the worst stuff possible.
He's funny. Yeah. He does the temp ad. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was gonna add anything to.
You know what? My first time watching it too, I thought, for some reason, I could have sworn Wolverine was on Johnny's side, where he never said anything. I could have sworn Wolverine said that.
It does seem like he's like, no, he's like you got the poor boy killed, or
right.
You got the poor. He's like 50.
And then when they meet, But and then when they met the rest of the other survivors, the same thing was like, he's like, man, he did a little nod of like, man, this dude messed him up, man.
Oh yeah, and he finds Blade, Elektra, and Gambit, and they're like, where's Johnny at? He's like, we haven't seen him in like 2-3 days. So, oh, I'm sure he's okay, thriving out there. Deadpool's just straight up lying to them. Yeah. Yeah.
Like when your boss asks you what happened, nothing. No, it was great.
One funny part, one of my favorite parts that I forgot that I just remembered was when he first gets his new suit, right? And he meets up with the tailor guy, and he's like, "Sue me up." And during the montage, the guy is like kind of groping him, like really inappropriately. He comes back. That part's funny, but then he comes back and he's like, "Check me out. Your tailor's great, but by the way, I'm pretty sure he's a predator."
Right.
And Paradox just doesn't care.
Yeah, it's just like.
Hey, they did a good job with Paradox. I at some point thought during the trailers, because I had seen all the reviews of people guessing, they're like, oh, I know Cassandra is the evil person, she's gonna be the villain. Paradox is probably gonna be the main villain, and dude, Paradox is basically his whole thing was he just wanted to climb the ladder, and he was gonna do whatever it cost.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch Loki?
I
didn't finish.
Yeah, same.
For at least one, or did you guys get into season 2, or you just didn't?
No, just season 1. But I know a lot of stuff about it.
Season 1 is great.
Yeah.
Season 2 is pretty good too. Season 2 was probably a little more good. I kind of feel like it was one of those moments. It's like, you just somebody that wanted to climb the ladder and was like, the way we used to do it, and during the old management did it this way, and now they've gotten soft. It was like kind of like I'm still rooted in my. I got hired in the 15 years ago, and I'm still doing it my way. But yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, Paradox was pretty cool, man. It was fun. At the end, when he finds out they're alive, he goes, "Come on!"
Yeah.
He was a good character. I liked him. I never seen him in that show that people kept referencing. I know he's a big actor in another show. I just never seen it. I forgot the show it's called, but I think it was on Apple TV.
I don't know.
He did pretty good.
This is the first time I've ever seen him.
That's the first time I watched him, and I watched like people that do like videos and movie stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, he was in this show, and he did great." I liked him in this one. He was pretty cool.
He was okay. I didn't really care for him myself. Like I said, all the story stuff in the movie, it served its purpose, but it just felt.
I feel like.
It just didn't do it for me. I didn't care.
I felt like it was like okay, we got to get these two in the movie. This is our core.
Yeah, basically.
And we're gonna build around it. So how do we get these two to be in it? Now we just gotta make some random we're just gonna brainstorm and how do we make this now become this thing? How do we do it where this happens and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
the
because there's a
TVA
lot
coming
of
because
stuff
yeah.
in the film that doesn't make sense. Like if you think about it, towards the end when they save the lab or they save the world, right, with them joining hands and stopping Nova. Like why didn't she just go? Why didn't she just let go of the machine and be alive, right? She would have lived if she would have just let go. So there's that. When they come back and he's like, Deadpool's talking to the boss lady of the TVA, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, can you do anything about this guy's world?" And she's like, "No. The reason why who he is because of everything he's been through." And it's kind of like, well, yeah, but if you change his world and kind of wiped his memory, he would be a happier person. Like I don't think he would care if he wasn't the person he was, because he hates himself, right? Prior to this movie.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, yeah, that doesn't really make sense. And yeah, the whole thing where like, I think it was John Campea who made a really good point about this, where if so Logan is portrayed as like the what was the term they gave him, like the main character or the focal point
anchor.
of the universe, anchor point
The
of the universe.
anchor point.
Yeah.
Anchor point of the universe.
Anchor point or anchor.
So,
whatever, yeah.
Once he dies, the whole universe is jeopardized, right? Like it's gonna fade away over time. Well, how was the world functioning before Logan was born for thousands of years?
See, that's what I don't get.
You know?
Like, these superheroes aren't eternal. which
Yeah,
is-
so it's and Logan's not
holes.
Logan's not the only superhero in the Fox universe, because
right.
Deadpool
They're
takes
going based
place
on what 10005, whatever. That's the X-Men.
Something like that, yeah.
Time, whatever you want to call it, yeah.
So Deadpool takes place in modern day, whereas Logan takes place in the future, right? So obviously Deadpool goes to the future to revive Logan, so his world doesn't stop, right? So thinking about that, it's like, okay, if Wolverine dying causes the universe to end, well, before he was born, what does that
Who was
mean?
the
And also
anchor?
too, like, does the world just stop because only Logan's dead? Like, what if Deadpool's still alive or anybody else? I think in Logan, I think pretty much everybody else is dead already by that point that we hear about in the movie. But yeah, does the world just stop? Like, if Tony Stark dies in Endgame, does that universe just stop? Like, or does it keep going?
Yeah.
Or it's
I don't know.
Well, that would
It's-
explain why everything's been trashed since Endgame.
right.
Literally.
The anchor's
Right.
gone.
The anchor's gone. Well, we'll talk about that the next episode of the podcast. But.
Yeah, I have some thoughts, but yeah.
So, yeah, there's just a lot of things like that. When you think about it,
I think it gets past that movie. You get past all the hype and excitement. That, like I said, we all agree was.
don't
was
go in the
why
movie,
we
yeah,
wanted
for
to
that
edit.
reason, yeah.
But if you look at that movie, I talk about people talking about the Nintendo movie, the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Right.
People said the same thing about that. Even after today, they're like, because like I said, we were hyped. We all saw it. We had a good time. We watched it today, but it's cool. We watched it multiple times, whatever. But after you get past the whole, like not for the Mario Brothers movie cameos. Once you get past all the nostalgia and all the remember stuff, you look back at the story. You're like, what was the story? Like, the Mario Brothers movie, there was not really much of a story. It's just basically just filled with a bunch of nostalgia, a bunch of reference Easter eggs that we all grew up knowing because we've all been here now past the 80s where we've all grew up with this stuff. But after that, you kind of look at it, and the Super Mario Brothers movie was kind of like a. And I'm not hating on the trash because I loved it. It was cool. I still watch that movie once in a while. And I watched it in theaters when we all went, but it's just like once you get past all that little like Easter eggs and nostalgia, it's like, well, what was the story really? Like, it was a cool, it was okay movie. I kind of feel like maybe that's what people are gonna look back here. Like even like No Way Home. No Way Home did have pretty good
I still
story.
think. No, I disagree. I still think Mario Bros. And No Way Home have a better story than this. Like I would watch No Way Home
again
before I
Same.
watch this. They released a month or two ago. They released all the Spider-Man movies back to back, like for 6-7 weeks, right?
Yeah, over here too. We had the Spider-Man Monday or something like that. Every Monday
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
releasing movies, and yeah, No Way Home was the last movie that
So
they put out.
they showed No Way Home in the last week, and I went to go see it. And dude, I had
No Way Home is
it
great.
was
No Way Home is cool.
yeah, it's great. There's hardly anything in the movie that I dislike. Whereas again, like this plot, it doesn't really wrap up anything in terms of the characters. Where No Way Home fixes Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, it wraps up, or it gives new life to Tom Holland's Spider-Man, and then it kind of gets you like a little checkup on Tobey's Spider-Man. Like, hey, what have you been up to, right? He's like, oh, I've been doing stuff with MJ, and I've been doing crime fighting here and there, right? So it goes into all of that. Whereas this movie doesn't really do that. It gives you a different Wolverine, so you're not really catching up with the main line Logan, because his story is done. And then with this Deadpool, it's kind of like a contrived plot. And then at the end of the movie, he kind of just ends up back at the apartment. He's getting back with Vanessa. But then you don't know what else is going to happen to him. Is he going to be part of the MCU? Is this it for him? Is he going to have another Deadpool movie? He may or may not.
No idea.
But like, you don't really get a resolution. So again, this movie, you're going for the spectacle of, oh my god, I get to see Wolverine and Deadpool kill people.
Yeah, team up.
Think of it as like a special one-off comic that you find on the shelf at your local comic book shop, and you're like, oh my god, it's Deadpool and Wolverine, a limited 4-issue run, right? So you go pick that up, and it doesn't really affect anything else. This movie is perfect for
favorite
that.
TV show.
Yeah.
Your favorite TV show, and it's a random filler episode.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
Hey, these crossover, or this, like this. Yeah, so I kind of feel like, so I get your point when you're saying that. I kind of feel like that too. It doesn't really give too much. Like, it doesn't show too much of what's going to happen. Like, is he officially the MCU, or is he in the main? What time? It's still a lot of like I said, once you get past the whole like all the good stuff that we do like right there, and I guess I'm meant to just be one of those where we don't. But we're all gonna eventually do it, dig deeper into movies.
Yeah.
We're gonna dig deeper into the plots of it. We're all gonna like. They already know they're making this movie to. Cause there's people right now that are probably like, man, this is the best movie ever, hands down, and stuff like that. And then they're gonna be like, because they're purposefully looking past the main things that, people are really interested in. Like people like you or us, like we would watch these movies, but we kind of get a little plot where now we watch the movie, we're like, okay, what next, kind of thing. Some people are just like, man, this was awesome. Yeah, at that. And like I said, no hate on them. That was us. That was me, and I walked out the movie. I still feel like that. I'll still be like one of those.
Yeah.
This is one of the best movies here, and it's gonna be our only MCU movie for the year. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing else coming out, I think, from Marvel.
Nope. That's it.
Not until February of 25.
Yeah.
I think Craven comes out this year. No, it comes out next year, right? Craven?
It's all next year.
Dude.
Oh.
It's all next year. Yeah.
No,
That's all we get this year.
Venom.
Fantastic.
Venom comes out, but I don't think anyone cares about.
Venom, yeah.
No one cares about Venom.
Yeah.
But
Okay, I might watch that just a little. That's another.
Sure.
Maybe I'll watch it.
on pirated sites, no.
The Venom shade.
But yeah, this movie, I like it. I don't want it to get, it misunderstood. I like this movie a lot. I really dug it. I'll probably pick it up on like Blu-ray or 4K if I ever get the chance. Like if it's on sale or something. It's one of those movies I'll probably get for sure. But yeah, it serves its purpose. It's a parody movie of Marvel and Deadpool and the X-Men, and I think that even kind of
good.
Yeah, and I think it even kind of showcases that at the end credits scene, wherein it's the we already talked about it, but it's the reel of the various X-Men clips, and even some from like the Fantastic Four, like you have Michael B. Jordan pop up and
yeah.
Yeah.
What's the saying? It's a love letter to the previous. It's basically what it is. It's a love letter to
100%.
the old. What brought us here to this point. This is for you. This is everything. Like this, we're here because of this.
Yeah, because the whole Fox thing, it's done.
you.
You're not gonna get any more. This is it. This is the last quote unquote Fox movie. I think it was mostly a Disney production, but this is the last Fox movie you're gonna get from X-Men or from any Marvel character. Like that's it. So it's an end.
Not a bad way to go out.
That's crazy to
It's
say.
the end of an era. So
Great way to go out.
yeah, this movie kind of celebrates it, but also makes fun of it at the same time. So yeah, it's solid. But yeah, I don't know if you guys have any final thoughts you want to talk about, or one thing I do want to bring up, I almost forgot. Another good joke is when he first walks into the TVA, and on the TV he says he sees something on the TV, and it's his future, right? And it's him kind of laying down on the ground, kind of all beat up and almost dying, and it's Thor like crying over him. And he's like, "What is that?" And he turns it off. Don't worry about that. That's just your distant future.
Don't worry about
And then
he's so curious on what happened.
and then I don't know if you guys caught this as the movie goes on. Every time every time he's knocked out and wakes up, he goes Thor, and then God of Thunder.
Yeah.
God of Thunder.
Yeah, God of Thunder. So that was another good joke.
Cool detail.
100%. But yeah, I don't know if you guys had anything else to say before we
Best
wrap up.
scene, everyone. Just really quick.
Go ahead.
Really quick.
Go ahead.
Oh, you want me to go?
Go ahead. Yeah,
Go
yeah.
for it, bro.
When they first are in the void, Deadpool and Wolverine, and then they fight.
First fight. Yeah.
The first fight was cool. And then, but I will say, what made it the coolest was the song that was played. Do you guys remember the song?
It's Hell's
The
Bells.
AC/DC Hell's Bells.
Oh, when I heard the tune, I was like, oh, it's about to go.
That song always gives me chills. It's so cool.
Yeah.
It was one of those,
Right.
like, it's about it. That's that one that, well, I didn't go with nobody, but if you wanted somebody with you, you just give a little shoulder tug, like any movie, you're like, oh, it's
Hey, you better
go
pay
time,
attention
buddy.
to this.
It's go time right now, bro.
Yeah.
Man, or I work.
100%.
Yeah. What about you,
Oh, yeah,
Anthony?
dude. Mine was a funny joke right there about the whole with Captain America and
Human
Johnny.
Torch.
Oh, and
Yeah.
Johnny.
He's gonna say it.
Did you guys-
Avengers! What?
Did you guys? Yes. That was hilarious. Did you guys think he died too when he fell? I thought he died.
I
The
wasn't
first time,
sure.
The first time he fell from on the what is it, like a billboard sign? He falls
Yes.
and
Oh, he did that,
bangs.
yeah.
He falls on his crotch and then he falls again, like he tips
Oh, yeah,
over
I was
and he
like,
hits his
hold
head
up.
and then he falls back down to the ground. I was like, did they just kill Johnny Storm?
Right.
They eventually.
That's not a good way to. No. That's, yeah.
I mean,
I
yeah.
did the same thing too. I was like, no, don't do
They
this.
eventually do
Not
kill him
good.
later, but this first time, and it's more brutal. It's more brutal, yeah. The second time, but the first time, I was like, did they just kill up Johnny Storm so quickly? Because I was excited to see him like fight Pyro too. It was a cool scene.
Oh, I would like them to go longer, but what did you say? You know what he was doing to the budget?
Yeah, it's super self-aware. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, that was a ton to get.
Oh,
freaking
do we-
hit.
Did we talk about what Blade says in the van when they're pulling up to the it's Paul Rudd's Ant-Man's giant man suit, right?
When he
that's the base.
Wait.
But they're in the van pulling up to it, and he give me a bazooka. And he pulls out the bazooka and he shoots it, or right before he shoots it, he goes, "There's only one blade. And there's only ever gonna be one blade."
Oh, dude,
And then
that
it cuts
was-
to
and
Deadpool, and he's kind of like,
look.
yeah. Which at this
Dude, yeah,
point,
that one-
at this point, it might be because Marshall, I
point,
can't
yeah.
say his name, Marshall Ali, whatever.
Marshall Ali, yeah.
He kind of just quit recently.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's gonna be one. I wonder if that's their little like. What did they have in the news? Oh, you gotta watch the movie.
Yeah.
that was funny, dude. What
Yeah.
did he say? He said his famous line too. The ice skating.
Was that from one of the first films? Because I've only seen the first.
We saw the first one. Remember?
Right.
He says it in the. I think he says it in the second. I know for
Okay.
sure he says it in the third one.
Okay.
But yeah, he says these guys are always trying to ice skate. Yeah, I know for sure he says in the third one. But the second one maybe. He didn't say in the first one. Yeah, I know that because I didn't hear it when he said that. But that was one of the things.
Yeah, because I've never seen the
no,
other
that
two
was
blades.
Mine. That was.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was the one we thought. Yeah, that was my favorite scene. That and then putting on the thing, and then good for Blake Lively, bro. She was actually in it.
Yeah.
Looked good in the outfit.
Yeah.
You could tell it was her.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But yeah, and yours?
Mine was probably the whole scene from when they leave in the van and they get to the woods and they're kind of having that argument and then they start fighting. From that whole period is probably my favorite part of the film. I love character stuff. So when Wolverine's just cussing him out, because Deadpool is not one of my favorite characters. I love him in the movies, like Ryan Reynolds makes him work, but in general, I don't like Deadpool. So when Wolverine's cussing him out, and it's really cool. And I love the whole movie. I love hearing Wolverine just talk in very vulgar language because it fits Wolverine so much. And like in the previous X-Men films, he's always had to be like very PG and very tame. So in this movie, he just lets go. He's always just cussing
fully.
and so that part when he's cussing him out, and then they start fighting in the van, like it's such a fun fight scene. It's the first one when they're in the void in the desert. It's really good. but how creative they get with the fight in the van, it's brilliant. Yeah, that's probably my favorite part of the film. That or seeing the brown suit Wolverine fight Hulk for like a second. That's probably like my second favorite part.
Dope, bro.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Yeah, I would say those are my two favorite parts.
Not bad.
Well, yeah, that is our thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine. We hope you guys enjoyed our little spoiler review. If you guys has seen it already, let us know what you thought about it in the comments, and if we missed anything that you guys liked specifically in the movie, let us know down in the comments below. And yeah, we hope to do more specials like this. This is kind of like a one-off thing, just so we can get it out quickly and just give our thoughts on the film. But yeah, we thank you guys for watching, and take care wherever you may be, and Godspeed.
Yeah, thanks guys. Go watch the film.
Go watch it.
Take care. Yeah, dude. Enjoy it. Go in there, have a good time. You're gonna have it regardless. And just enjoy it. Take care.